Good morning. It's July 22nd. It's 10 o'clock. Call to order. Mr. Eldon Callan.
Here.
Mr. Ed Hawkins.
Here.
And Mr. Tom Bloom. We're all here. At this time, I ask to rise for a moment of silent meditation and then pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will now have consents and approvals.
We have 64 exonerations, $40,125.43 for tax year 2015. Fiduciary orders as of July 22nd. Minutes for July 15. Vouchers, General County Fund, $562,112.46. General County Fund Purchasing Card, $26,389.12. Coal Severance Fund, $24,000. Camp Muffley, $6,058.08. Camp Muffley Purchasing Card, $622.03. Chestnut Ridge Park, $924. Chestnut Ridge Purchasing Card, $515. Mason-Dixon Park, $357.91. Mason-Dixon Purchasing Card, $83.39. Magistrate Court Purchasing Card, $1,080. 911 Purchasing Card, $10,260.58. 911 Cash, $114.53 for a total of $632,517.10. I have budget revisions for the assessor and the county clerk.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. At this time, we have comments from the public. Anyone who wishes to speak, please stand, state your name, and ask, tell us what you'd like to say. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak? Since I see two elected officials, I guess they'll wait till later. Seeing none, we'll move on. Okay, Renetta with grants and the thousands of dollars we're going to get.
I didn't know if you. Hey.
Just have one grant for a request for reimbursement today. The HUD grant for MAYSP through the City of Morgantown. This is finishing out their grant request for June 2015, $872.96.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. And also, I received a phone call, if you could put on the agenda for Bob Beach 1010 next week. He also has a grant. I don't know, he didn't tell me what, but we're getting some more money, so he's going to announce a grant. So we'll find out. Okay. Correspondence. We'll start with one. Letter from Mon County Historical Society recommending appointment.
This letter is recommending that Vaughn Kiger be appointed to the Historic Landmarks Commission, and he would be the representative of the Historical Society.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Intergovernmental agreement.
His term will run until May 1st of 2017. I just wanted to acknowledge that I've received the dog warden agreement with the town of Granville. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Do you have any other?
No.
Okay, I have two other correspondents, and I think this person also may have talked to you, Ed. From the West Virginia Radio Corporation, Dear Tom, I'm writing to inquire about any possible positions that might be coming available to serve on the Board of Directors for the Mon County Development Authority. As a longtime member of the Morgantown community, I'd be very interested in filling any vacancies that might arise in the coming months. Would you please forward me any requirements or paperwork that might be needed on my part? Thank you for your time, Christian Miller. So I know he talked to you, so I don't know what the process, I don't know, are there any more
You
openings?
just fill out his form. I think we've got one or two openings.
Okay.
She resigned?
Well,
or-
she's going to stay on the microloan committee for a while. She doesn't have to be a member of the Development Authority, but she can't serve on the Development Authority because they changed the meeting to noon. And as a chief public defender in Preston County, she can't get out on a regular basis. So some people are upset because she was the first woman and one of the longest serving people there. But when they change the meeting time, she just can't make it. So there's one position.
Is she going to send a letter of resignation or just not be reappointed?
I think she's just going to not be reappointed.
So that's a vacant.
Okay, good. Okay, so we'll put that on agenda. The other thing is I'm glad Bill Kowecki is here. Congratulations, Deputy Mayor, City of Morgantown. I received a phone call from Jay Redmond and asked us, were we planning on doing anything for a celebration for the Hartman Run Bridge? And I had mentioned to Jay that Eldon had sent a very nice letter asking when the bridge was going to be open last week,
Yeah.
and we were waiting for a response. And also, Diane also sent a letter to Ray Urs, who also said that he would, what was the quote? He would get back to us if he, what he could. So we were surprised as you that there was an opening. We're very pleased that there's an opening. However, Jay had mentioned that the two neighborhood groups would like to have a small little ceremony, and I said I would bring it up to you all
Well,
since.
can I address?
Sure, go
this?
right ahead.
'Cause I've followed up on some things.
Sure.
We'd always planned on having some ceremony, but the fact of the matter is, the contractor neither informed the DOH or us that they were way ahead of schedule. We had always planned on having a ceremony, including the neighbors, especially the neighborhood, because I know they lobbied for nearly 20 years to get that bridge replaced, and they certainly need to be recognized. We also have the fact that we, as a commission, I know a year or so ago, passed a resolution to name it the Michael Todd May Bridge once it was rebuilt, once it became the new bridge. What I'm trying to determine is, and the Senate passed that, so the new bridge is the Michael Todd May Bridge. So I'm trying to find out whether we're going to do that as a separate ceremony, and Perry's here, and maybe you could speak to that also, or combine the two ceremonies for, both the opening and the official naming. That would, if we combine the ceremonies, there's a lot of people we need to invite. So there's no way, as I mentioned to Bill Austin, there's no way I was going to keep the bridge closed just to have a ceremony. The bridge is ready, open it up. I mean, we could always have a ceremony later. So, yes, we are planning the ceremony. Yes, the DOH is involved. Yes, the city of Morgantown and the neighborhood groups will be involved. To give you a little history on this, so I might as well talk about it now.
Yeah,
if
that'd be
two of you
fine.
don't mind, because I was going to mention it in my report anyway. To give you a little history of this, I'm particularly excited about it open because that was the first project I took on as a commissioner, as a new commissioner. I had traveled over that on a regular basis because I had property out over that bridge, and the potholes were so horrible that we were able to do some repairs to it and take it on as a project. And I agree with the newspaper's editorial this morning. That bridge is certainly worth a case study to be figuring out what happened and why it took so long and what the problems were, but how it was resolved, how it was eventually resolved, and basically to give the shorthand version is that when I started working on this project, Hazel said the DOH would never agree to anything, and Hazel wasn't going to change his position, which is fine. I mean, but the fact of the matter is everyone was severely entrenched in their position, and they weren't going to move. And how I really broke that entrenchment is figure out the inflation factor. So what was offered in 2000 with the inflation is going to end up being about what we pay on that bridge. We should get a refund on that. So there was various issues, but I will take credit for that because that was my first project. I worked on it. I got to give credit to Diane and Joanna, who was here, and Debbie McGinnis, who was here, that helped dig out all the old records and read the records and help put together, You know, no one does things as an Allen. We have a great support staff here, and I got to give them credit for giving them the information and the history. Hazel gave me the history, John Powell's gave me the history, Diane gave me the history, Bobby gave me the history. One of the things is he was not going to work on rebuilding the bridge because he wasn't going to be in the bridge business, so I understand that. So, yes, we need to have, we will have a ceremony, and we will involve the people. My understanding, we should get probably $250,000 refund of the $1 million we contributed.
Sure.
So everything has worked well, and I agree that it's worthy of being a case study, but at the end of the day, it took 2.5, 3 years after I became commissioner to finalize that project. So I'll take credit for that if no one else wants it.
Did you want to add anything?
I just think it's a great day when we have something that is done, not just on time, but ahead of time.
Well, Eldon, would you be willing to take the point to coordinate with the city?
Absolutely.
And that would be great,
happy.
because, and that's why I referred Jay. I said I'm going to refer it to you. So,
Yeah.
okay, and if you could just, is there anyone you want, or get back to us, or do you want Jay, or do you want to be the person? How do you want to do that? Or do you want to talk to?
It's Jay's ward.
Oh, okay. So we'll be Jay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just connect him up with me, and I'll make sure to include him. I don't have his information, but get me his information if you would.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. New business. Unfinished business. Oh, this is good. Okay. New business.
Nothing.
Did you want?
There's probably new business. Our meeting, I'm going to include this in new business.
Sure, go ahead.
Our meeting last week, Holly Childs, the head of the Development Authority, and I went and had a very good meeting with Secretary Kiss and Secretary of Tax or Revenue and Secretary Burnett of Development and their entourage, their full staff. It was a very productive meeting, and I expect to hear something within the week.
Great.
On this issue. So that's really a
Well, but that's
say
that's
right
exciting news. That's exciting news, and I think. Would you say that it went extremely positive from what you were
yes,
telling us?
I think it was a positive meeting. I think there's greater understanding both with the between the tax development and the county, especially the county's participation and dedication to this. I think it was very, very helpful to have that meeting, and I really believe that we're going to hear something pretty quickly.
Good. May I ask, are we able to announce the day and the opening that we are now considering for the judicial building? I remember we held off for a week. I wanted to know if that was now possible to make that announcement, so we can.
Sure, I've changed it twice already.
So we do now have, do you want, Bob or Diane, do you want to publicly state what our plans are at this time?
I hope you're still looking at the end of September, like the 28th,
Right.
maybe.
To move it.
You know, we had our job meeting and nobody sees any problem, so. But anything can happen. I mean, you know, anything mechanical or anything, but if we can move in and we'll do what we need to do. But everything's looking positive right now. We got cameras online. Perry sent Tim and Gary down there. They're lining cameras as we speak.
Okay.
We have card access. I named every card reader down there yesterday, so we're building a card access, and then I'll have to build some groups on where people can go in the building, and
Okay.
it's moving. We still have some work to do, but
Right.
I-
Are we?
I would like to applaud your report with
Yes.
all the elected officials. That was very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. For those who don't know, we have requested, I don't want to say we have requested reports, and Bobby went through, and each department came back with a report to give us a better clarification. I'll bring up in my report, I do have one question on that, okay? But are we also allowed to announce what our grand opening for the community? So we are planning to have at 1:30. September 15th.
I thought it was September 29th. Am I confused?
28th is when we're open.
Moving's 28th.
Oh, move-in day. Okay,
September
all right,
15th
okay.
would be,
Would like to have the
Oh, okay.
dedication open
Yeah.
up before anyone moves in, so that the boxes.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
Right.
there.
absolutely.
and so the community be a part of this presentation and program.
Well, the
Yes.
bar's going to play a
Everything will
key
be,
part too.
Yes, we want to thank the bar because they have come in and they are going to work with Bobby and everyone.
Everything will be in
And the
place,
court.
and every phone will be sitting on a desk, because all we have to do is throw a switch on the day we move in, so.
Good.
And then, like I said, there will be some hiccups, I mean, but we're gonna have to work through them. I mean, there's no place that you're gonna move in that you're not gonna have a problem, so.
Well, if
We're
I,
gonna try to have most of them.
if I can just state, Phil Magro and I walked through, and he was so excited by the end that he said, Bobby, you're going to have a problem. And we said, what? And he said, because when the people see how nice the magistrate office and the magistrate rooms are, we're going to have a lot of people running from magistrate because it's that nice. So I think the people are going to be thrilled. It's first-class job, and Bobby, we can't say enough, and I think the people will see that once we move forward. Reports from elected officials. Are there any elected officials out here who would like to make a comment?
Just
No?
for you to observe and curious to know what your thoughts are on some of the fundraising you proposed.
Okay, we'll definitely discuss that. Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, reports from county commissioners. Ed, do you want to go first?
I would like to state that last night, both Tom and I were at Wadestown for their fair. Great event, great community event, covered today very well by the paper, I might add. Invite you all. The Monongalia County Fair comes up, and we start on Monday with a downtown parade, and then Tuesday the fair will open and will conclude on the following Saturday. So really looking forward to seeing the community come out and support this event.
Okay, thank you. Eldon?
Let's see, I already talked about the TIF, I already talked about Hurt-Marin Bridge. We are finalizing Interstate 68 Commerce Park interviews. That's the new park that we've been working with the city, and that park's in the city. The opening of the Raleigh Center was exceptional accomplishment. It's one of those long-term accomplishments, and the real leaders on that needed recognition, of course, Colonel Tackett, but more so Dan Boroff. I mean, he was the one that really carried the ball on that and brought it to the Development Authority. And it was a cooperative effort between the city and the Development Authority and the commission. The commission played a more minor role in it, but the commissioners at the time played an important role. So that was great to see that building. You know, for $20 million, they have a 58,000 square foot building with all the modern and new accessories in there. And Dan Boroff, I was happy to see him there because he truly was the driving force in getting that done. And Jeff Jeff McCorsky, of course, we're in the latter stages, but when you have big projects like that, it passes over people's tenures. But I want to just make sure that we recognize Dan Boroff, the city manager, Don Rannicke, the head of the Development Authority, and of course Colonel Tackett for a job well done.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
Okay. I have two issues. One is more of a question. In Bobby's report, and since I wasn't at that meeting, you stated, Bobby, that you talked with Kathy and the circuit clerk, and she said that they were told to pay for the overtime out of the clerk's budget and keep track, and they would be reimbursed for it all. And I just have a question, because I thought when we were discussing, I thought there was a plan that they would pay out of their budget, and when they ran out of money, then I didn't know, and I had a question.
Apparently, there's a misunderstanding. It's something that could be worked out.
Okay.
That's no big deal. That's no big deal.
I just want to make sure that, yeah, so we don't deal with that at a later time. Okay. The other issue, let me give you each a copy. So, Diane, could you hand that so Kyle doesn't have to in the newspaper, so they don't have to. As yesterday, I made a proposal, so I wanted to start and just explain what I was trying to do. I would like to make it very clear that I acted alone in my proposal so as not to burden the county commissioners, but only to offer a possible solution to this ongoing problem in our county and hopefully be able to discuss these issues at a work session. I also want to make it clear that my proposal does not state that we're taking over the roads in our county, but we actually act as a conduit that collects the money and monitors and have input in the road maintenance of our county. And in no way does my proposal talk about taking care of the bridges, as you will see. West Virginia is one of only 4 states that maintain all roads and bridges in the state. Revenue for funding highways is currently 62% of what it was from the federal government in 1999. It has become the perception that Mon County is seen as an island within the state of West Virginia, and the maintenance and repair of our roads is perceived as less than desirable compared to other areas in the state. In the Blue Ribbon Committee report, there were 6 innovative methods of financing the roads. I would like to focus on 2 of their innovative methods. One was public-private partnerships, and number 5 was Community Empowerment Transportation Act that would place emphasis on local funding and financing. As I see the problem, there are 3 major areas of road improvements needed in the state of West Virginia. Federal dollars to help build our new roads and infrastructure is 1, the state funding to be used to pave existing roads 2, and the 3rd being the repair of potholes, cleaning culverts, and clearing and clearing brush off the side of existing roads. I'm requesting the legislature to allow for a 3-year surcharge on the following items. One key component is all funds will stay within this county and only used for the following: hiring private companies to do culvert cleaning and ditch cleaning, do pothole fixing during all 12 months, and maintaining the right-of-way and clear vegetation overgrowth. These companies would have a sealed bid process. The county, as a recommendation, would be to divide into zones or regions, for example, 9 regions, 3 in each district, and then meet the standards set up by the DOH. These bids would be reviewed by the DOH and county commissioners. All money collected would be put in a line item by the county. This could either be as an option for the legislature to let the legislature consider Monongalia County as a pilot project, or they can consider this on a statewide project with counties choosing to be a part of this program. The following items would have a surcharge. Some call it a sin tax, and as I go through 10 cents of vapor cigarettes, 10 cent cigarettes, it'd be just tobacco. It'd be easier if I just said 10 cents on tobacco on a single or 25 cents on a carton. Then 10 cents for a beer, 10 cents for a glass of wine, 25 cents for a bottle of wine, or 25 cents for a pint liter of liquor. After the first year, a public hearing would be held to consider dropping the surcharge down to a maximum of 5 cents per individual and 12 cents per multiple items. Then after the second year, you would have another public hearing to be considered to lower it to 0 to 5 or to see where we were at. One other issue that I had added in there yesterday in talking to people was we could consider having a citizens advisory group that would monitor and watch and work with the DOH and the county commission. Some concerns and issues that I thought were important. This is an election year. Well, every year is an election year for a politician. So I think that is not an issue. The second part, legislators state that they will not be reelected if they propose any increases. The legislator's duty is to the citizens and provide adequate services. Being reelected is not considered a priority to the citizens who want their roads in adequate shape without massive potholes. The state DOH would use the funding for Mon County to pave roads and not have to worry about these other 3 virtually important areas for 3 years, which was road maintenance. In fact, the state DOH is currently not able to meet the demands of the roads and the upkeep in our county as of right now. In fact, the items that are being given a surcharge are not basic necessity. So I want this clear. This is not a regressive tax as some people thought it was. These are not basic necessities to smoke and drink. And 6, it is believed that this surcharge will affect more people outside of Mon County actually coming from external funding sources, people attending events or coming into our county to a bar from outside the county. And I would add a 7th one is I want to make it clear that we would still get the same amount of money from the state, but that would be used directly for paving, and we would use this money again for maintenance. Finally, as I said, this is not my personal plan, not agreed on or even discussed by the other county commissioners. I did send that to them the night before. And what I'm looking for as a starting point for the legislators, what is Charleston's plan to fix the roads? What is the Republican plan? What is the Democratic plan? What is the plan? It is time for action and leadership within our state. I've been honored to work with these county commissioners who have moved progressively forward, and I believe what I'd like to do is consider this as a possible blueprint or idea to be used for Monongalia County and moving forward together. And again, it's an idea, it's a plan, and what I am hoping is rather than waiting for the legislature to meet and just discuss 60 days, we have 10 months. Let's work now with ideas and plans and talk with the public and then go down the legislature and debate it at that time. And I didn't know if either of you wanted to make any general comments at this time.
I have a short statement.
Sure.
I personally don't believe a sin tax to be a proper approach. I believe our full efforts should be directed in support of the local bill, which was introduced into the legislature this year after 2 years of careful crafting. Few bills achieve success their first year, and to begin a divided front, I think, might only hinder success. I would be happy to offer support of this proposal after achieving success of the local bill. That would allow the time and planning necessary, working with our legislators and the Chamber of Commerce to produce an additional plan for possible additional revenue.
An only response would be the local bill only deals with new developing roads. It does not take care of maintenance. And my concern is how do we get the people to support new additional roads when they can't drive from here to work without hitting potholes? So that's why I don't see it as, I understand your concern, and it is a question that's been brought and raised. I don't believe it's two different issues, and that's why I'd like to confront it on both, but I respect your opinion. Eldon, I don't know if you have any ideas yet, or you want to wait, or?
Well, I have a couple comments.
Sure.
First, this is always a tough balance of not stifling or discouraging ideas, concepts. You don't want to do that. You want people to feel free to throw out their ideas and concepts and stuff. And you got to balance that with how practical certain things are, and how the fact is, as Commissioner Hawkins mentioned, that I have some of the best minds in the state's been working on this for a long time, and came up with a local bill as an approach. And basically, the structure, I mean, it's geared to maintenance, is the local bill. I mean, it's basically the local bill. You've added some twist to it, and that's fine. And it's focused on maintenance, which is a key thing. So it's a tough balance there, because you don't want to stifle ideas. But I do have some basic questions that would have to be dealt with. Number one is, do you have any comprehension of the net revenue that would be generated by this? That has to be answered.
Okay.
Number two, and these are just some things that you need to address.
Sure.
I don't expect you to have them on the tip of your tongue right now. Plus, whenever you adopt taxing policies, whatever it is, you've got to analyze and come up to your point of diminishing returns, where a certain tax becomes prohibitive to the point that it actually reduces your general revenue that you raise. That's why the net revenue
Sure.
issue is important. Another problem you have with this, having worked with tax in all the different categories, is our tax system in this state. And everyone knows I've talked about how it needs to be totally reformed. We need to figure out what revenue we need in this state to operate efficiently.
Correct.
And it needs to be raised in a fair and equitable way. We got across the board where everyone's contributing and paid. I don't like the word sin tax, and maybe I'm not politically correct 99% of the time. But I just don't like the word because, first, all these things, maybe they're not necessities, but, I mean, they're legal. There's a legal thing, there are legal activities that people can legally do. And take this the right way, Tom.
Sure.
But I think about, well, what is a large majority of the people trying to do when they're in bars or buying liquor and stuff? And I was like, well, Tom, where's your 5 cents on a Viagra pill? Where's your 5 cents on a condom? You know what I mean? If you talk sin, I'm trying to do this in a lighthearted way, but you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't like the word sin tax. I just,
Right,
yeah.
right. And that's, I was trying to make that point.
Sure.
Because there's certain things that people do that is much more sinful than having a drink of
Yeah.
wine. So I don't like that. I don't like the word.
Neither do I.
I don't like the use of the word. So the other problem that has to be analyzed and has to be looked at is the compliance. How you force compliance and what the overall cost. Now, the tax structure that's set up in this state and many other states, because it's ease of compliance, is based on percentage cost rather than on a flat amount for a certain thing. The only exception is the gasoline tax. So the state tax department, you would have to figure out how that would fit in, because you would, if you just adopted it the way it's written here, you would have to create a whole new layer of reporting in the tax department, which would, again, reduce your general revenue. Finally, to adopt this on a county level, I know that the bar owners and restaurants that are on the borders, this would be the final nail in their coffin. We got inundated when the smoking regulations were passed by the health department, and they've showed a major decrease because people that's on Taylor County or Marion County or Wetzel County or Preston County line, they just went across the line. So that all those creates problems. Not death knell problems, I want to add.
Right.
Not death knell problems. I believe any discussion of how we approach it is good. I would like to have seen this presented to the Transportation Committee of the chamber, and I would still urge you to do that.
Sure.
Because I don't know if you talked to Senator Beach or Tom Witt or John Deskins, all economists that could help in formulate.
Okay.
But I would urge that you present this because I guarantee you they'll come up with a dozen more questions than I come up with. And I had to go to Little Washington yesterday on microloan issues, so I wasn't able to spend much time on this. But those are just quick things that popped in my head. But we've got to collaborate, and we've got to work together. Just as Ed said, we can't be going off in different directions. Those are my thoughts.
Well, I appreciate the comments, and I think what you both came up with is exactly what I want. As you said, we need to come up with some ideas, and we need to discuss it. My concern is that in the past, how it's always been, is that we don't hear a thing. You have the legislature, they go down, and if we don't get there in time, we don't have input. So hopefully, this will get others to, maybe this isn't the right approach. Maybe we look at goes back. Now there may be more emphasis on, what you talked about, what the Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
I did send the letters to Frank Vitale and to Dan Kimball, so they were aware of it. And I think it's a great idea to at least submit this proposal to them, and I'm sure they will have a lot more comments. So I do appreciate your comments, and we'll just see what happens from there. I'm still, if there is interest, not immediately, but maybe down the road, to look at putting, after we get some of these questions answered, to put it on a work session. I would like to do that. We don't need to do it immediately. I'd like to try and get some more information back.
Yeah, again,
That's
it all
fine.
depends on
Sure.
the people with the expertise. I
Right.
mean, this was snippets of the local bill. There was additional things. I would just ask that you not use the word syntax.
I don't
just
mind at all.
don't
I
like
didn't.
that.
That's what was thrown out to me.
Otherwise, I'm going to come up with a number of other things you need to tax.
Okay, well, I didn't like it. That just seems to be the terminology.
That's what they like to throw
Yeah.
out.
One other quick thing, I saw in the paper that the DEP awarded grants for litter control, and also local solid waste authorities received money. And I did see that the Monongalia County Solid Waste Authority received $7,050 for rent, educational conference, and a financial exam. And I just wanted to state that because I've not heard any help in anything that we're doing, and maybe they will help promote our program and maybe find out more of what's going on. So I did see that. Any other comments before we?
I don't have anything.
Okay, we don't have an executive session, right? Good. So I ask now if I could have a move for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. We are adjourned. Great.